What's the most emotional moment you've shared with your partner? My boyfriend cried in front of me for the first time after 2.5 years together when his mother was dying, and I finally understood what true intimacy really means. I've been with my boyfriend for 2.5 years, and he's never been comfortable talking about emotions. Some people call him a robot because he's so closed off, always brushing off my attempts to get him to open up, never showing vulnerability even when he's clearly struggling. The only person he'd ever confided in was his mother when he was a child. Maybe I should have tried harder to create a safe space for him earlier. I'm quite introverted myself, so I struggled to make him feel like he could be vulnerable with me. We'd fought about it before. He said he just couldn't get the words out, like having a ball in his throat whenever he tried to express himself. I'd never seen him cry, not once. When I could tell he was visibly down, I'd try to encourage him to share, but he'd just deny anything was wrong. Earlier this week, his family found out his mother would be passing away very soon, potentially within a couple of weeks. It came as a complete surprise to everyone. I knew it hit him the hardest because she was the only woman in his life he could be vulnerable with. I asked a friend for advice on how to help him feel comfortable opening up during his time of need. She suggested I offer to wash his hair, which stuck with me for some reason. The breaking point came when he finally got home that day. He looked completely worn out. I'd prepared dinner, but we ate in silence. He hardly looked up from his food. I asked if he wanted to talk, and again, he brushed me off. After dinner, I asked if he'd like to shower with me. It had been at least 2 days since he'd been able to have one. I dimmed the bathroom lights and played relaxing music we both enjoy. I made the shower nice and hot, gently helped him undress, and had him sit on the bench under the water while I finished undressing. I joined him and slowly washed him all over, taking breaks to rest my head on his shoulder or whisper to him. I spent a long time massaging his head as I washed his hair, kissing his lips, forehead, and neck, occasionally embracing him. I rubbed his shoulders and places where he might be sore after being up for 2 days straight. There was nothing sexual about it. It was a completely different type of intense intimacy that's difficult to describe. He hardly said a word during all this and looked like he could cry at any minute. I wasn't sure what to say, so I just looked into his eyes, smiled, and said, "It's okay." After we finished, we sat on the bench under the water for a while, not speaking, just enjoying each other's company. I kept running my hand up and down his back, across his cheek, through his hair, trying to make him relax. After I dried us both off, we got into bed and I turned on the TV. I was half watching while playing with his hair. I asked if he wanted to talk about anything, and he shook his head. Maybe 20 minutes later, I could see him literally on the verge of tears. I rolled to my side, put my arms around him, and pulled him into my chest. That's when he started. The tears began to flow, and he sobbed and sobbed. He was holding on to me so tightly it was sometimes difficult to breathe. I could feel years of bottled up emotions pouring out. He cried harder than I'd ever seen anyone cry, and it broke my heart. He said something about his mom, but it was muffled and I couldn't hear it. Seeing the man you love clinging to you like you might leave while he lets everything out was heartbreaking. I had tears in my eyes too. I just held him tight and kept whispering how much I loved him, that it was okay, that I was there for him. Even when he stopped sobbing, he kept his arms wrapped tightly around me with his face buried in my chest. I comforted him until he fell asleep. Usually I don't like cuddling while sleeping, but that night I held him all night long. I felt terrible that he was going through this, but also relieved and happy that he'd finally let me in. I've read women say they lose attraction when they see their man cry, but if anything, I feel more attracted to him than ever. It amplified my love for him. I haven't brought up that night yet. I want to let him talk about it when he's ready, but I hope he knows it was okay, and that I'm grateful he trusted me enough to be that vulnerable.